So, as some of you may know, Lil Baby just dropped this highly anticipated album, Wham. I say that sarcastically because it really wasn't anticipated, but he dropped this new album, Wham. And I'm just gonna be honest with you, it was shit. But I'm not really here to talk about the quality. I'm here to talk about really the promotion, the rollout, and the grimy shit the label did for his album. Because I'm gonna tell you this, there's some grimy shit that the label did that I don't like. It rubbed me the wrong way, and not enough people are talking about it. So I'm gonna talk about that. So let's talk about it. Lil Baby's album, Wham. It was a 15-track album that got bumped to 19 tracks. We'll talk about that in a second here. But overall, album wasn't great. Did not like it. Not really surprised. I think the best song was Stiff Gang. I think that song is a banger. Dumb and Dumber is a little overrated in my opinion. It was cool, but it just meh. Young Thug heavily carried that song, but for me, it wasn't enough for me. It just I don't know. I thought I liked it, but I don't like it enough for me to add it to my playlist, and that's just the reality of it. But let's talk about the album. First off, the rollout was terrible. There was like essentially no rollout. I was learning more about the album from rap blog pages than I did from Lil Baby. I go to his Instagram, people are talking about, oh, his album's dropping in January, and I check Lil Baby's Instagram, nowhere to be found. And I'm like, okay. I've eventually learned officially from Lil Baby like 2 weeks before the album dropped, and I'm like, when he dropped the track list, I'm just like, how am I knowing more from rap blog pages than Lil Baby himself? I'm like, whatever. At the end of the day, I don't really care if you promote your album or not, but as long just at least post it on your Instagram, because that was not apparent. But whatever. But regardless, album dropped. The album sold about 145,000 units first week, and that's what we're gonna talk about because people are just brushing it over to like, hey, you went number one, that's good. Nope. I'm gonna tell you this album flopped, and I'm gonna explain to you what the label did to boost album sales because what they did was really shady. So let's talk about it. So when they dropped the album, it was just the original 15 tracks, whatever, right? You can go stream it on Apple Music, Spotify, anywhere. It was available everywhere. But there was a catch. There was an extended version 4 days after the album was released, 3 to 4 days after, right? So it's still within the same week of tracking, right? So because he drops on Friday night, and you're given that full week of tracking how much your album is going to sell within that week, right? So 3 to 4 days go by, and suddenly he promotes a deluxe. And I'm like, okay, they're going to try boosting more sales with the deluxe. But here's the catch. Instead of that deluxe being available everywhere, they said, hey, Lil Baby, go promote it on your Instagram, on your story, and tell people, hey, there's a deluxe, but they got to go pay for it on your website. I'm like, that's a little fishy. I'm like, oh, I think I see what the label's doing there. They're smart, but not smart enough for me because I know what they're doing. I know what these labels be doing, right? So they basically tell him to go promote his deluxe and advertise it as a deluxe, but you need to pay for that deluxe, $4.99 for 4 additional songs. There's a feature song with Future, and then 3 other single songs with just Lil Baby solo ones. And basically, what happened was he promoted it. He said you got to go buy it from our website for those additional songs, and that's what people did. And then as soon as the tracking ends, basically to account for your album sales within the week to determine if it goes number one or not within the first week, it's free now. Isn't that a little odd? At first, the first 3 to 4 days of the album being out, you're charging your fans $5 for these 4 additional songs, and then suddenly after the tracking ends, songs are now free. Let me tell you what they did. That's exactly what they did. They basically gave everyone the middle finger. They said, hey, what we're going to do is because we know this album is not performing that well in terms of streams, what we're going to do is boost these album sales. We're going to pad them up by getting people to buy this album. How they got people to pay for this album was advertise a deluxe. Think about it. That's why the pure sales are so high. He sold 49,000 pure albums. Pure albums means they literally bought it. That is not normal for Lil Baby. His previous album, It's Only Me, sold 6.5 thousand units of pure album sales. But this one is 49,000. The 49,000, I'm going to tell you this is just a fact. It came from the deluxe that people were buying for because they thought it wasn't free, but now it's free when tracking ends. Is that not shady? That's literally what they did. They were charging for it to boost sales, right? And then as soon as tracking ends, they said, let's just make it free because the reality is people are not going to continuously buy the album, right? So the sales are going to tank after the first week, 144,000 units. So track that from 49,000, that's about 96,000 units first week that he sold off streams alone. His last album, It's Only Me, sold like 206,000 from streams alone. That's a 50% decline if we're really looking at the streams and the sales within that regard. People are going to tell me that, hey, he still went number one. If that didn't happen, he probably would have debuted at number two or three. In my opinion, that's a flop. That's over a 50% decline from his previous album. And so that's shady. Not enough people are calling out the label out for that, but that's shady as fuck. You shouldn't be doing that. That, if anything, that's just fucked up. That's literally scamming your fans. You're charging them, and then now the song is available to everyone else. I can go listen to it right now. It's on Spotify. The deluxe is there. It's there because they know no one's gonna buy the album anymore after the first week, because they falsely advertise that it's a deluxe only available through purchasing it, and it's no longer the case. So the problem I have is that this is fraudulent. This is literally fraudulent. And I guess no one's gonna talk about it, but the truth is that the label just did this to boost sales, because we're gonna see a huge decline within the second week of album sales. I'm telling you this, it's probably gonna sell about 30 to 40K units the second week, and in my opinion, that's really bad, right? That's not a good look. To see your album go from 144,000 units first week to see over a 70% decline is not a good look. 49,000 units first week from pure album sales, basically by scamming your fans, because those songs are now free. It's, what are we doing? People are saying, oh, he's supporting the artist. Bro, Lil Baby gets paid millions to show up to shows, bro. That's the truth of it. You're not supporting shit. Maybe you want to listen to Deluxe, awesome, right? You're a huge Lil Baby fan. You paid for it because you want to listen to Deluxe, awesome. But my question is, how do you feel now that they're free? Available to everyone. It's literally on Spotify. It's on Apple Music. It's everywhere. So personally, you gain nothing from that. You gain no ownership over that music, because literally it's available to everyone else now. So the label is doing some grimy stuff over here. I can't respect it. That's just the truth of it. My opinion, this album flopped. It didn't perform well. The album sucked. Apparently, allegedly, he's gonna drop another album in February. I'm telling you this right now. If they don't do any grimy shit again, the album's not gonna go number one. I'm sorry. Lil Baby's quality has declined so much that people are slowly tuning out of every single new Lil Baby release. That's the truth of it. Why? Because each song people tap into, they're like, it's the same shit, it's just more watered down. It's literally just worse than his previous record. It's like It's Only Me. It's Only Me was just terrible. I hated that album. That album was terrible. And then I'm just like, okay, I guess I'll listen to his next album. Maybe this is his last chance. In my opinion, Wham was his last chance. And in my opinion, it's over. This is done. This is gonna be his highest last selling album ever. I'm gonna say this right now. From now on, it's just gonna decline. I mean, it's already starting to decline. It's Only Me sold about 216,000 units first week. This one sold 144,000. We're already seeing like a 70,000 unit decline already. So that's already not a good sign. And I think that decline is just gonna continue, because this is just the reality of Lil Baby's career right now. He's getting outsold by people like Rod Wave. And let's talk about their current streams right now. They're not doing great. He's already falling off the charts on Apple Music. They're debuted at number top 10, 20 songs, and they're already falling off the charts on Apple Music top songs. It's not looking good. People are going to say, hey, he's got 12 out of 15 tracks debuting in the Hot 100. Great. How many of them are going to stay for longer than 1 week? Because I bet you most of them are going to fall off the first week. Yeah, and he was heavily reliant on these features. He had Travis Scott, 21 Savage, Young Thug, like Rod Wave. And I don't know what to say. This is not an album review. I just hated the album. I don't like how they approached this album. It was garbage, and the label needs to do better. I really don't like what the label did, and not enough people are calling it out, because in reality, he sold 96,000 units first week. And if we account pure sales without the deluxe, maybe it was like 100K. And also, 49,000 is suspiciously high, that I know for a fact the label bought some of the deluxe songs. For sure, 100%. They probably bought a couple thousand, in my opinion. Again, anything to boost the sales, because they didn't want to go. The reality is, there's a narrative going on that Lil Baby fell off. So one thing they had to do to prove everyone wrong was that he didn't go anywhere but number one, right? If he went number two, number three, they're going to be like, holy shit, he did fall off, right? They couldn't afford for Lil Baby to go number two, number three. They put a lot of money into this rollout, even though there was like no promo at all. The rollout was trash, but they put a lot of money into this album, the marketing and everything, the music videos and everything. They're doing everything they can, and in my opinion, it still flopped. It wasn't great, and that's just the truth of it. And these labels, they get you one way or another, and what they did was really, really fucked up, in my opinion, because, in my opinion, it's fraudulent. And it's not even the first time these rappers be doing this. This is actually a common thing. Destroy Lonely did it, Kanye did it, Yeet did it, and the common trend is that within that first week, they know the streams are not doing good. So what they do is they're like, hey, we gotta inflate these numbers somehow to boost the numbers. We gotta go number one, right? That's what they did with Yeet. Within the same first week, they'll be like, hey, there's a deluxe, there's a volume 2, whatever, here's some extra songs, just buy them. But you gotta pay like $5 for it because it's not free, right? But at least they didn't make it free like a week later or something like that, like Lil Baby's label did. And then notice how they fall off the charts. Yeat's album's no longer even on the charts. So it's like we're going for the number one, but we're not going for the number one that lasts weeks on the chart. What I like to do is compare albums over time. How long are you staying on the charts, on the Hot 200, right? And none of these people are still on the charts. Sure, Lonely's no longer in the charts. Yeet is no longer on the charts. Kanye's no longer in the charts. So it's like they're doing this for the sake of sales. They're not doing this for the sake of quality or to push the agenda that it's good music and that it will stay over time on the charts, because that's not true. One who has been doing this correctly is Ken Carson. When he dropped his album, it debuted pretty high, so like 50K units first week. No deluxe, didn't need any of that, right? Drops the deluxe like months later. Didn't charge his fans, anything like that. And guess what? It's still on the charts to this day because Ken Carson knows how to make an album. Can't say the same for the rest of these guys. It's unfortunate what's going on. And Lil Baby's album was a disaster in my opinion. Wasn't great. And what the label did, really, really shady.